This is JediAmanda with Beyond the Game, and today I'm interviewing someone amazingly awesome. This is Professor Shyguy.
Hi, everybody.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do in case the internet doesn't know who you are?
Oh, yeah, that's most of the internet. You are now part of the elite few who know who I am. I make music with a Game Boy and a computer. And then I sing and play guitar and stuff over it, sometimes drums if there's a drum set. And it's about half about video games, half about books, or just like words, or just like other nerdy things that I like. But yeah, and it's all chiptunes. It all kind of sounds video gamey, but it's only half about like video games. I don't want to be stuck to one thing.
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny.
I still want to write about what I want to write about, and if I like other things, I can write about other things.
Okay. Now, you play in front of a live audience with like a guitar and a keyboard. And I'm probably missing other instruments you use. Drums?
Yeah, I used to do drums a lot, but it's hard to tote them around now.
Yeah, you know, fitting them in a car could be hard.
With all that other gear, yeah.
Do you ever get nervous playing in front of a live audience?
Not too often. Like one of the first times I ever performed singing was in front of like 400 people at a church camp. This is way different than what I do now. But so it was kind of like, I was like super nervous because like I never really sang in front of much people, much of anybody, and then I sang in front of a whole bunch of people. But it was kind of like, you know, jumping in the deep end sort of, and like I was really nervous, and then like once it like, you know, like a minute to the song, I felt great. Like I was just like, everybody, you know, they were attentive and like they weren't, you know, just like talking amongst each other and stuff like that. So it was a very good environment to have my first like live performance singing in front of people. So I'll get nervous every once in a while depending on the situation, but it's like, it's not too bad. I like doing it a lot. I know this doesn't change it. Not that people get nervous because they don't like it, but I like doing it a lot and stuff like that. So it doesn't get me too nervous a lot, which is lucky. I know that it's not like that for everybody. Yeah.
What is the craziest thing to happen to you during a live show?
Probably that NecoCon thing.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yeah, I haven't really said that in recordings, but so it was me. The lineup was me, and then Tribe One, and then Dr. Awkward, and MC Lars. And I never get to see Josh, Dr. Awkward, because he's on the whole of the coast, and he's really great live. So I don't get to hang out with him much or see him play much because I like his set. Either way, I started with my first song, and during the song I climb off the front of the stage, and then climb back on the front of the stage, not jump. So, finish that song, and all my gear goes quiet, like all the sound goes quiet. So, and it's a hugest room ever. It's really, really large. So I'm like, is it my gear? Is there something on my end, or is it something over there? The sound I was like. So I was like, it could be my problem. Do I need to fix something over here? And he was like, I was like, I don't know what that means. And then some dude from the back of the room comes in and is like, everybody's gonna leave. Shut it down. Everybody's gonna leave the room. Everybody leave the room right now. Get out. Get out. Screaming at people that are sitting down. It was like a pregnant lady. Like I remember that part because she was pregnant and she couldn't get up quick, but he was yelling at her to get the hell out. And I was like, what are you doing? That guy is a child of an adult. So he yells at everybody to leave the room. And he's like, I come in, people are stage diving. And I was like, well, it was physically impossible for me to stage dive. There wasn't enough people up yet. I just climbed down. So he's like, shut it down, the whole thing. Shut down all the other acts because I climbed off stage. Now note that right after that, the DJs are setting up, carrying gear off the front of the stage, doing the same thing that they shut down my whole show for. And the other acts who didn't even play. They flew Awkward and Lars from California, and Niles from Tribe One from Atlanta, and just to cancel the show. There was two people. There was the guy who booked the show, Vince, and he's great. But there was a guy who was in charge of that room, and he was not great.
Sounds like he was salty.
He was, I don't know why he was so salty, but he was, like the year before that, but don't go to NecoCon. The year before that, I didn't know that Adam Warrock, if you're familiar with him, he tweeted at me, or like DM'd me because he was talking about how the year before he had a problem, that same con, where he was there to sound check on time, and there was a lady screaming at him, literally screaming at him about, like, where are the other acts? Where are the acts? Like, I'm my act, I'm here right now. There's no reason to scream at me. Like, and then, you know, he goes and talks to apparently one of the con heads, and they didn't care. That he screamed, like, this lady is treating him like crap. For he's the only one that's there, and she's screaming, oh my god, that con. I didn't know that. He messaged me after. Like, I didn't know you were doing that. I would have
warned you. Like, hey, watch out.
Yeah, I mean, they paid us. They still paid us what
I was about to say,
they
like,
promised. That was a rough sleep that night before because they were super professional before that. I don't know, man.
Someone in charge of the room just lost it.
4 years I've been doing this, and I've never had any con be upset with me, much less shut down every act. There was obviously there was something going on in that dude's head that shouldn't have been going on.
Did you guys all get together like afterwards and had like a after party of, hey, we didn't?
Yeah, I mean, we went out and sold stuff in the outside. Well, they were like, oh my gosh, there were so many things. I don't have the time for that. But they were like, can you set up the table right here, right outside the door? I was like, can you set it up right here so that it's not blocking anything? And we set it up. And like, can you move it over there around the corner so that it's not blocking? I was like, this is where you told us to move it the first time. They were goofy.
All right. Well,
So that was a pretty crazy time.
now you're super musically gifted.
Thank you.
Did you take music in high school or college, or are you just purely self-taught?
Mostly self-taught. I had like show choir in college, but that's like where I play guitar. Like it's not like a lessons thing. It's like you are a band. So
Yeah.
I had training in being a band a bit, which was cool. But I taught myself with the guitar and taught myself with singing stuff. I wanna still get vocal lessons because like there are things that I know I'm probably doing wrong and things I could do better, like to hold notes, to be, you know,
Stylistically.
yeah, just like to treat my voice right.
Do you ever feel after singing, like, does your voice feel rough, or like you can't talk
Sometimes,
afterwards?
not usually.
Okay, that's good. That means
Yeah,
you're not like
I
fucking
used
up
to.
your voice.
Yeah, it
Okay.
used to. It used to do that a lot. But yeah, I've gotten better, like knowing how to still scream and yell without it hurting my voice.
Yeah.
It will be if I'm in a situation where I am nervous. Like my brain, like if I start to get into my own head, then my voice kind of like subconsciously tightens
Yeah.
up, so it's not singing as comfortably. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, what's your favorite music genre?
Favorite music genre? Whatever you would call like half electronic girl fronted bands. I guess is the because like some of my favorites are like Bird and the Bee and Kimbra and like Tori Amos and Fiona Apple used to be a big one, but she was not so electronic much. But I like the Cardigans are great, and
I think Ellie Goulding used to be in that category.
yeah, she's kind of like she's more on the pop side, which I also like. I like
Yeah,
Ellie Goulding.
she seemed like she moved over there because I'm gonna sound like a hipster. I heard her music before she actually went mainstream.
That's cool.
Definitely way more electronic than before.
But yeah.
She got those records.
Portishead's a big one. I like Portishead a whole lot. I mean, I like all kinds because I like metal a lot as well. Like I like Baroness and Elder and Mastodon and all these things. Like I mean, I like most kinds of music, but I guess like the biggest category of you want to find like through lines. It's those kind of things. Oh, Fiasco is a really good one.
Now, as someone who's involved in the music community now, at least like, you know, at conventions, and you probably know some composers for video games.
Yeah.
How did it feel for you going from fan to peer?
It's still super weird sometimes. I don't want to say names in case they watch it, so they're like, oh, I didn't know you liked me that much. Because you kind of have to keep, like, you can't, it's tricky. Because you can tell people you like their stuff, but you,
So we had to do without being like,
yeah, without being, it's hard to not fan out over things sometimes. Because there are people that am way, like, so like Molly Lewis, she plays the ukulele, she sings. I watched her on YouTube when I was in college, like 10 years ago or so. Like I used to watch her stuff whenever she would update. Like I loved it. And now I'm playing shows with her, which is super rad. But I didn't tell her how big a fan until like third or fourth show we played, and then I was comfortable to be like on the mic and be like, I was watching you since like 10 years ago. Watching your videos whenever you were uploading all your covers and stuff like that. So it was super cool. So like there are times where I can fan out, but I have to I want to feel I want them to feel comfortable with me as a peer. Like it shouldn't be different, but not everybody sees it that way. A lot of people are fine with that. They understand that you can be both. You can be a fan of something and have fans. That's everybody. That does something that has fans or a fan of something, unless they're just unbelievably hipster negative people.
You're too cool. I can't like you.
You're too cool to like things.
Oh my goodness. Alright. So this question might be a bit of an interesting question. So I know a couple people who were into chiptunes.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, you use a Game Boy to help compose some things. Mm-hmm. I've heard there's been some negativity in the community with some people who have decided to switch from Game Boy but use computer only.
Yeah.
Is that real?
I've only heard about it, but I haven't really heard anybody of note say anything.
Okay.
Because I use a program called Plug Chip Sounds for a lot of my stuff now because it's almost identical. There's some things I can't quite do in that program that I can do on a Game Boy, but it's almost identical, and it's so much easier than programming hexadecimal. Yeah. But I mean, I've heard that they're like it's one of those I've heard. I haven't really heard. Nobody's ever like
when I'm
negatively said fake bit, to me or something like that.
Okay.
Fake bit is what they call it.
Can people tell the difference at all?
A lot of times they can't.
Yeah.
So it is just a purist thing. But most of the good, like a lot of the people who are really good and really known are starting to move to things that are easier that still emulate it almost flawlessly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now my next question might be a bit of a hard one. So doing a career in music full time can be pretty scary unless you're an American Idol winner.
Yeah.
Then you find yourself, you have all these contracts, and you realize you're Taylor Swift, and you're never gonna have to worry about buying food or paying rent.
Yeah.
How hard was it for you to switch from whatever career you had doing music full time?
Yeah, I got lucky, sort of. I was waiting tables, but I was working at B.F. Chang's, and that B.F. Chang's, you could get off work anytime you wanted to, as long as you had 2 weeks notice of the dates you wanted off or the dates you wanted off for, as long as you want. So like I could take 2 weeks off if I needed it for a tour. I could take almost every every other weekend or whatever for a con. So I was able to transition real smooth without having to I was able to get off and get any gig I wanted while still having a job. So it made it a little easier. And I had a plan. I remember I was like, in 6 months I'm going to stop working at P.F. Chang's. And then all the management changed about 2 months into that, and I was like, right now I'm going to quit P.F. Chang's. I was like, here's my 2 weeks. I told it to one of the smaller managers, one of the not the manager, but one of the I tried to tell the manager, but he wasn't there, so I emailed him. And then the day before it was my last day, he's like, I was like, yeah, tomorrow's my last day. He's like, what? I was like, I emailed you. This is the whole thing. So the general manager, Jay, was. I got along with him really well. He was just a good, interesting guy. And I got along with him, so he showed up the next day, say goodbye, and just to be real pissed at the new management. The one that I was leaving, the group that I was they replaced all the management in 2 weeks. It was really weird. But yeah, he was not happy with them for not knowing that people are leaving, not knowing that people quit whenever they put in their 2 weeks to 2 different people, not checking their emails. I don't know.
Do you have any tips for anyone who's thinking about trying to jump in the music career?
Let's see.
Because it's not even an obscure thing to do it for video game music.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, my okay, so start doing it. Just Nike, just do it. Like as in like if you want to do music, start recording music. It doesn't have to be the best quality. You don't wait till you have the best quality, because if you're spending money on the best quality while you're still learning, then you could have already learned and then you're using your best quality time better. Either way, just start recording any writing. Just start doing stuff or make recordings, because then you can start submitting to places. And like as far as transition, it's like you're just gonna have to hope your job lets you, get off every couple weekends if you're gonna do cons like I was doing. It's kind of easier on the weeknights sometimes, depending on the job, or if you have a job that's only weekdays. Either way, the big point is like just start making recordings, because if you're gonna like I said, I did the con thing. So if you're gonna start doing the con, they want to be able to hear what you're doing and see what you're doing.
Like a Magfest, they want a live recording.
Yeah, they want a live recording. They want to see what you do live. Because there can be bands that are great recorded but can't pull it offline. But I mean, even then, like and you gotta have stuff to sell. Like even if it's a crap recording CD, just just a decent one. It's easier for people to invest in something when they not literally like invest money because they're buying something, but also that like invest. It's easier for people to invest in something they think is going to be more permanent than that they don't And if they don't have a CD to bring home with them, then they can't listen to it and learn it and like it later, and then come to see you again because they're familiar with the songs, kind of thing.
Okay.
Because with what you guys do, you take the songs and then put lyrics over them. So like having a CD for them to have would be, I don't know if you do. Do you guys have a CD?
We started a month ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So.
No, that's fine. It's trickier with drums too, because it's harder to record drums than anything else.
Yeah,
you guys a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we were thinking of recording everything separately and overlaying it maybe.
Yeah.
Because Derek is a sound tech.
Yeah, I was like, he's got all that stuff.
He's got a studio, so.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
For a wrap-up question, super serious question. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay.
For a bit, it was like I never really watched Star Trek when I was growing up. I watched Star Wars a bunch, but like I never watched the Star Trek series. I've seen a couple episodes, I liked them. When Star Trek came out, then the J.J. Abrams one, the first one, I was like, man, that is way great. Like I really liked it. Like it was blockbuster, but like smart and funny. Like it nailed a really good block. Like it was a while before there was a movie like a blockbuster movie that felt that much like the really strong '90s ones.
Yeah.
But current, like you still got to update. You can't be Full House and pretend like it's write the jokes like it's still the '90s, because it's not. It's not the '90s anymore. You can have that same. Full House is terrible. This is not the question. Full House is terrible. The reboot, oh my god, it's terrible.
So you got to incorporate. I can't words today. Incorporate the jokes that we understand now, which would be memes.
Yeah.
And we've evolved the memes.
Even like just like the pattern of jokes, like that's so dumb. But yeah, so Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness didn't really quite grab me as much, but I heard the new one's good. We were gonna see it yesterday, but we hunted Pokemon for 6.5 hours.
See, that's healthier than being in a movie theater for 2 hours and eating popcorn. See, you were healthy.
Yeah, man, my legs are still tired.
See, I saw the movie and I didn't get to catch any Pokemon.
Yeah.
See, that was my...
Don't catch Pokemon in the theater. Don't catch Pokemon on driving or in the theater.
PSAs.
Yeah.
Alright, well thank you.
Thank you.
This is JediAmanda, heading out with Professor Shyguy.